Hi there, I'm Greg from RVHaulers, and I want to show you this 2017 Volvo model 670 that is available for sale. This is a nice unit. Now, we've named this unit Smoky, but don't be confused. It's definitely a non-smoking interior. Let me give you a tour of this 670 model. This 2017 Volvo 670 is recognizable as a 670 because it's got a single window in the top. So this is the little bit shorter sleeper. So if you're looking for a rig that just keeps your overall length down or reduces your overall length, it saves you a few inches. There is a model up from this one called the 780, which has two windows there, and it's a little bit longer. Now, I'll take you inside and I'll explain some of the differences, but this is a really nice unit. It's got 642,000 miles on it, and it's available with a 5-year powertrain warranty. So we can put a warranty on this truck that covers the engine, the transmission, the turbo, even the emission system in the rear end. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on a tour outside and inside this truck and talk to you about some of the things we've done and the inspections. This truck is ready for a new owner, and it kind of hits all the marks. So let me grab this camera, and well, while we're here, let's talk about some of the mechanical things. One of the things I love to see is a locking rear axle. So there you go. When you kind of see this little parasite on the side of the pumpkin, that's the locking mechanism for the rear axle. And we've got Michelin tires. These are XDS2s. They're one of my favorites. They're more of a closed pattern, but you see that they do have some of the kind of mud and snow siping on here. You can use these all year, but I would say those tires are probably around 85% and will give you a lot of life. Alcoa aluminum rims, and while we're here, we'll also talk about frame condition. So you can see there's my original decals. The frame is in beautiful shape for 2017. Really, you'll have a hard time finding rust on here. But let's start at the driver's side, and we'll go nice and slow. Oh, I should have mentioned that the tires are all matched. They're all Michelins, all the same age. Now, the truck is a little bit dusty from being in the yard. We had some rain just overnight, so I've got a few little dust spots. But when we want to look for rock chips on the side of the truck, there's little to none. Those are just water droplets with some dust from the rain. I'm just being quiet because I'm going to go slowly around the truck, and we really don't find marks or imperfections at this point in time. Now, there's a little bit of work I have left to do. You know, there's a little bit of scratching in the clear coat that you can see here. That's not down into the paint. I'll be able to get rid of those. And if we look really kind of carefully in the reflection of the paint, we'll see a few of the corporate decals. You know how we've got all the weight and measurements and VIN number on the side? I just need to polish that a little bit and get those cleaned up. But let's pause here at the chrome, which is really nice. Likewise, the hood mirrors that give us this beautiful wide field of vision, those are in great shape. Just a few little bugs on there left. And you know me, I love to look at things like rock chips and chrome condition. So what I love about this previous owner is he was really particular about actually filling all the little rock chips. So from a little ways back, it looks really nice, but I just want to point out to you that there are some there. But if we look at the chrome is in beautiful shape. So we've got a few little rock chips there. There we go. In focus. But quite minor. And coming back, let's make sure we don't forget to mention the upgraded LED headlights. So you can see the little vertical bar. That's the LED system. Nice to see. And of course they're replaced fairly recently, so we don't have, you know, very minimal hazing or anything like that in the lenses. They look really nice. And of course, as you would expect, on this side of the truck we have almost no rock chips. It's always the oncoming traffic that throws the debris. This side of the truck is always nicer condition. Now we've got Michelin X-Line tires on, steer tires on the front, and you'll know if you've watched any of my previous videos that when these are brand new tires, that arrow is full size, and you can see that it's just starting to wear a little bit. So I would say this is probably an 80% steer tire. Excuse me. So it's a D13 engine programmed for 500 horsepower, and this is the Eco Torque engine, which is really nice for efficiency. Taking a look at that chrome. We'll inspect the glass in a moment when we go inside. There we go. Let's go inside next. Actually, no, let's go look under the hood next. So as I said, it's a D13 Volvo engine programmed for 500 horsepower, and it's the Eco Torque model. And we've done a fair bit of work. We've driven this truck quite a bit, put it through its paces. It's nice and tight, drives beautifully, nice and quiet. What I mention is some of the things that we've already done to this truck is we did have a moderate oil leak from the CCV, and I'll show you in a moment. Let me get the camera zoomed in on that. So this is a really common oil leak that develops. So you can see we've got a new CCV in there. What that does is, like the bypass oil from the engine, it gets spun there and pushed back into the engine, and that was leaking between the engine head or the block and the device. We've done some belts. Also, the steering was a little bit loose, so we replaced that. That's nice and tight now. And you know me, I love to look for oil leaks, and I will say there's one that's just developing that I think I want to address this one. So it's really common. That's the filler tube for filling the oil, and you can see I'm getting a little bit of sweating oil around the base of it. The gasket between those two, often just with the heat, the whole heat and cold and hot and cold, that gasket starts to go. So I want to replace that one. But if you look, the truck is really clean underneath here. Now that oil here, I didn't want to hide it from you. That is the oil that was dripping from the CCV. It's right up underneath there. So I haven't steam cleaned this off. One of the plans I have for this truck is I do want to steam all of these conditions and drive it quite a bit more and make sure that there's nothing else kind of hiding in this truck. But certainly that one, this is the oil filler point, right? It's where it goes into the engine that I want to repair. I'll take you around the other side. What I love seeing is this. This is an S-bar or a Webasto engine preheater. So this is a diesel-fired preheater. You can see the coolant lines in and out. What this does is it preheats the engine in cooler temperature. So you got about 35 degrees Fahrenheit here today, bit of a cool day. And what's nice is you just touch this let this run for maybe an hour, even half an hour, and it preheats, it circulates and preheats the coolant and preheats the engine that way. I do want to do some servicing on this truck, so you can see that the fuel filter, the Davco, is a little bit dark down here. I'm probably going to replace that for you. And something else that I'm really very common to find is the coolant filter that's way down in there is a little bit old, and I'd like to replace it. So that's something I'd like to address for you as well. My goal is always, when I convert these RV haulers for folks, I don't just do the mechanical conversion and convert it to pull a camping trailer or a horse trailer or a gooseneck. what I want to do is make sure that we address all the small things on these units as well. So the maintenance, all the preventative maintenance things I try to take care of, such as really getting in and looking at things like shocks and tires and steering, and even engine and transmission and rear end fluids are things that I want to address. Air filters, cabin air filters, belts. I want all those things taken care of so you don't have to. Now we're inside. We're out of that wind. As I said, this RVHauler is a non-smoking truck. I do have mild asthma and I'm really sensitive to odors. And this one is beautiful. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll give you a tour inside the cabin. Well, let's start here with a verification of the mileage. There's our 640, I'm rounding up, 642,000 miles. You can see it's a bit of a chilly day here today. But no, a bit of a glare there. No engine codes. This truck has been gone through mechanically and it just passed our first inspection, but those little touch-ups are some things we want to address. And steering wheel condition. But the fabrics are all in very nice shape, as are the plastics. Slowly panning over here. There's our controls for the axle lockers. We've got a very nice stereo with Bluetooth input and Sirius XM and USB input, as well as the 1/8" jack. So there's our engine braking controls, the I-shift engine braking, and over here there's our cruise control on the signal stock. So that's how we turn it off, on, slow the speed down or speed up, and pushing it out, that's resume. So these seats do not rotate or face forward. What you're looking for, if you're ever looking for rotating seats, they've got a little handle right there. You'll see that it is missing. But it's the kind of moderate tan interior color. And this being a 2017, all of the lights, you know, these are LEDs up here. And above the passenger and driver, we've got this really large shelf that goes all the way across. Now I will point out to you on the sunroof up here, I'll see if I can get it in focus, there is a very small chip in that location. Just wanted to point that out to you so you're not surprised. It does come with a Cobra CB radio. And you know, I always love seeing super clean floors like this. The carpet is in very clean condition too. So behind the passenger seat is a tall closet. That lower cabinet is where we tend to put a porta potty. Then we've got some shelving. There is the folded up upper bunk. And I'm just panning really slow that you can see all the walls are very clean. I've got my window coverings on installed up top. I'll show you the one on the other side. There you go. And behind the driver's side is where we have a, this is usually the opening that we would put a microwave into. We've got the full set of manuals, and behind the driver is the refrigerator, nice and clean, and freezer in the top. Well, thanks very much for going on a tour of this 2017. I appreciate your time, and what I would invite you to do is check out our website. I think I took about 50 photos of this truck, so if you'd like to really zoom in, they're high definition photos. You can zoom right in, you can look for anything there. The other invitation is, if I've missed anything, please give me a call, send me an email. I would love to answer any of your questions. Thanks for watching.